Have you ever wondered where rain comes from? Or how a puddle on the sidewalk disappears on a sunny day? It's all part of a wonderful and magical journey that water takes all around our planet. This journey is called the water cycle. It is a big circle that never ends. Water is always moving, changing from wet puddles to invisible air, then to fluffy clouds, and back down to earth again. This amazing cycle is happening all the time, every single day, right above our heads and all around us, making sure every living thing has the water it needs. Our planet Earth is a very watery place. If you could look at it from outer space, you would see big, beautiful blue patches covering most of its surface. These blue patches are the Earth's giant oceans. They hold almost all of the water on our planet. But water isn't just in the big oceans. It is also found in many other places. There are large lakes filled with fresh water and long, winding rivers that flow across the land. Water is also frozen in giant sheets of ice called glaciers, and in the snow on top of high mountains. Even under our feet, deep in the ground, there is water. Water is one of the most important things on Earth. Every living thing needs water to survive. People need to drink water every day to stay healthy and strong. Animals, from the tiniest ladybug to the biggest blue whale, also need water for drinking and living in. Think about all the fish that swim in rivers and oceans. Water is their home. Plants need water too. A tall tree or a small flower drinks water from the soil through its roots. Without water, plants would wilt and could not grow, and we wouldn't have delicious fruits and vegetables to eat. So, how does all this water travel and move around? It doesn't just stay in one place. The water you drink today might have been in a cloud high in the sky last week, or in the great big ocean a month ago. The water cycle is like a giant recycling system for Earth's water. It cleans the water and moves it to all the places where it is needed. The sun is the big, powerful engine that starts this whole journey. It provides the energy to get the water cycle started, beginning a magical trip that supports all life. The first big step in water's amazing journey is called evaporation. This is where the magic really begins, and it all starts with the sun. The sun shines down on the earth, warming everything it touches. It warms the land, the trees, and especially the water in the oceans, lakes, and rivers. As the water gets warmer and warmer, something incredible happens. The heat from the sun gives the tiny water drops called molecules enough energy to escape from the surface of the water and float up into the air. They become a gas that you cannot see. This invisible gas is called water vapor. You can't see it, but it is all around you in the air. Think about a puddle on the ground after it rains. If the sun comes out, you can watch the puddle slowly get smaller and smaller until it is completely gone. Where did the water go? It didn't just disappear. The sun's warmth turned the liquid water into invisible water vapor, and it floated up into the sky. This is evaporation in action. It happens all the time from every wet surface, turning liquid water into a gas. The same thing happens on a much bigger scale all over the world. The sun shines brightly on the vast oceans, which cover so much of our planet. Huge amounts of water are constantly evaporating from the ocean's surface. The warm sunbeams hit the water, giving the water molecules the jolt of energy they need to break free and rise into the atmosphere as water vapor. This process also happens from lakes, ponds, and even from the wet leaves on plants. Plants also release water vapor from their leaves in a process called transpiration. So evaporation is like the sun performing a magic trick. It takes the water we can see and touch and turns it into an invisible gas that drifts up into the air. This step is very important because it is how water gets from the ground level high up into the sky. Without evaporation, water would just stay in the oceans and lakes, and the rest of the water cycle couldn't happen. It is the beginning of the journey that will eventually bring fresh water to all parts of the land for plants and animals to use. After the water vapor rises high into the air, the journey continues with the next step, which is called condensation. As the invisible water vapor floats higher and higher, the air around it gets much colder. The cold air makes the water vapor change back into tiny little drops of liquid water. This change from a gas back into a liquid is condensation. These water droplets are so small and light that they can float together in the air. You see this happen when you have a cold glass of water on a warm day, and little drops of water form on the outside of the glass. When millions and millions of these tiny water droplets come together high up in the sky, they form something we can see: a cloud. Clouds are just big floating collections of tiny water drops or ice crystals. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some look like big, fluffy balls of cotton, while others are thin and wispy. As more and more water vapor cools and condenses, the clouds grow bigger and heavier. The wind pushes these clouds all around the globe, carrying water to different parts of the world. Eventually, the clouds become so full of water droplets that they can't hold anymore. The tiny droplets bump into each other and join together, becoming bigger and heavier. When they get too heavy to float in the air anymore, they fall back down to Earth. This is called precipitation. Precipitation is any form of water that falls from the clouds. It is the way that water returns from the atmosphere to the Earth's surface. It is a very important delivery system for our planet's fresh water. Precipitation can happen in several different forms depending on how cold the air is. If the air is warm, the water falls as rain. But if the air is very cold, near or below freezing, the water droplets will turn into ice crystals. These ice crystals can fall as beautiful, unique snowflakes. Sometimes rain freezes as it falls, creating little balls of ice called sleet. And during big storms, chunks of ice called hail can fall from the sky. All of these are forms of precipitation. Once the water falls back to Earth as rain, snow, sleet, or hail, the final part of the journey begins. This step is called collection. The water needs to gather somewhere. Much of the rain falls directly back into the oceans, lakes, and rivers, ready to start the cycle all over again. The water that falls onto land has a different path. Some of it soaks deep into the ground, becoming groundwater. This underground water can stay there for a long time, or it can slowly move and feed into streams and lakes. Other water that falls on the land runs off the surface. It flows over the ground, gathering in small streams. These small streams join together to form bigger streams, which then flow into even bigger rivers. You can see this happening in your own neighborhood when rainwater flows down the street and into a storm drain. All of these rivers eventually wind their way across the land, carrying the water back to the great big oceans. Snow that falls on mountains may stay there for a while, but when the weather gets warmer, the snow melts and the water flows down into the rivers below. This amazing water cycle is so important for every single living thing on our planet. It brings fresh water to the land, which plants need to grow. Without rain, farmers couldn't grow the food we eat. The cycle fills up our lakes and rivers, giving animals a place to live and find water to drink. It also provides the water that we humans use every day for drinking, cooking, and cleaning. The cycle moves water from places that have a lot, like the oceans, to places that need it, like dry land. The journey of water is a continuous, never-ending circle, from the ocean to the air to the clouds and back to the earth again. It is always moving and changing. Water evaporates, condenses, precipitates, and collects over and over again. This magical cycle has been happening for billions of years, and it keeps our planet alive and beautiful. The next time you see a cloud in the sky or feel a drop of rain on your face, you will know that you are seeing a small part of water's incredible never-ending journey.